Hey everybody, and welcome to week 7. I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I have been sick for the last few days, so if I sound rough, I'm sorry. My first question came from chapter 14, question 16. Why is the ROI ratio considered one of the most important ratios? And ROI stands for return on investment, which is the percentage of return on funds invested into the company. So this ratio shows whether or not your company is making a profit, whether your investments are worthwhile, and it should show you as the owner or manager what your next steps should be. Question 26, distinguish between working capital, equity capital, and debt capital. Debt capital is the amount of cash or liquid assets that have been obtained through borrowing. So that's anything that you owe money against. Equity capital is money in the form of real estate, public, private investments that secure an investor ownership in your company. That would be, you could equate that to, companies that are on the stock exchange, stockholders, basically anybody that has something to lose involved in that company. Working capital is money that you use to fulfill daily obligations. And that would be considered, payroll, your light bills, anything that would be considered your overhead. And the textbook goes on further to say anything that would be due within 1 year. My biblical integration it comes from Luke 14:28. And Jesus says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? Now, in the full context of that verse, Jesus is talking to his disciples, asking them to, consider the cost of the cost of laying everything that they have down and being his follower. But for a more modern day application, we can use it to understand how important financial planning and management is, to consider costs and before we make financial decisions, before we make investments. And I thought that was a very, very good verse for this chapter of the book. And for Arrow 1 Aviation, January of last year, they completed their new 20,000 foot hangar. There are other older hangars. There are 2 older hangars, and all of their existing office spaces have been renovated within the last few years. I could not find anything online as far as the costs of their investments or their profits. No kind of monetary statements whatsoever. They've kept that pretty quiet, but they are actively pursuing more business development, seeing what they're going to work on next. Thank you very much for listening.